Okay, so we're live.
It's, yeah, I mean,
Question and answer with the doc. So how are you doing today, Dr. Levi?
doing well. How are you?
I'm I'm good. I think we have that ticker still on the bottom though.
Oh yeah,
So let's see. I don't think we need to advertise for Restream.
yeah. It's probably
There we go. We're already advertising in the top, but that's okay. Okay. So just introduce yourself, and I'll introduce myself, and then we'll start chatting about question and answer with the doc, your new series on YouTube.
perfect. My name is Dr. Levi Hansen. I own River of Life Chiropractic in College Station, Texas, and I'm originally from Alaska.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I grew up in Kenai, Alaska. I went to Washington State University, played football there for 2 years under Mike Leach, and then came out to Texas in 2020 and graduated chiropractic school. And then now I'm out here in College Station.
So what brought you to College Station?
Um, so my fiance, we met in chiropractic school, and then we got engaged right after we graduated. And she lives in Brenham, so I moved out to Brenham with them, and I opened up out here in College Station.
Okay, I know Brenham well. It seems to be like my favorite parking spot when I'm visiting College Station. So
It's pretty nice. I love Brenham as well.
I'm just kind of, as you know, as you met me in Bryan College Station. It's just uh, I'm business owner, digital nomad, and I help business owners across really over the world, but across North America, with the last 2 years traveling and helping them with their technology setups, and the last year we've been really focused on helping business owners that we run into, content creators, YouTubers, podcasters, really dial in and get their technology set up properly so they can maximize their YouTube experience, because we all need to make content. So why don't we make content and leverage YouTube and get that get that content everywhere. So that which it travels brought I have a lot of friends in College Station, so hence I ended up in College Station to teach in person YouTube University a couple months ago. Then that was the invitation to come to the trade show and teach it,
Yeah, we met at
right?
the show.
And then
Yeah,
that's where we met, and that's
yeah,
where and I was like, it's kind of a small world where I'm like, and then I'm, I hear you like, I'm hearing what you're saying. You're like, okay, from Alaska to College Station, and ending up, you settled down in Brenham, and I'm like, it's funny because when I was invited to College Station, and I'm like, where can I park my RV? Because I got 3 dogs, and it really ended up being Brenham, and I'm like, it's just kind of small world.
yeah. It is. That's awesome.
It's a crazy small world. So, but I'm glad because there seems to be a lot of brand new businesses or startup businesses, or people maybe have shifted. Right? I'm not sure if you shifted from something else into chiropractic, being a chiropractor, but I've noticed in the time I've spent in College Station and Brenham this past winter, there seems to be a lot of brand new businesses.
Yeah, no, I went to school like directly for chiropractic. I knew I wanted to
Okay.
do some of the med field, and then chiropractic presented itself, and I loved it, fell in love, and I knew when once I graduated, I was gonna open up. So that's what I did.
So did you? How did the? So if your spouse there is also in Cairo, did she lead you to Cairo? Did you both, like, how did that journey work out?
Yeah, so we met in chiropractic school. So I went by
Okay.
myself, and then I met her in like the second. We go by trimesters. So
Okay.
second trimester we met, and then we were friends until the fifth trimester, and then we started dating, and then at the 10th, which is graduation, that's whenever I proposed. So
Okay, interesting. So you got similarities then because you were both going to school for it.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
exactly, yeah.
That is super interesting. I like this story. So I know we wanted this to be question and answer, and it is Q&A. It's like your origin story. What got you started with? What really led you down to choosing you wanted to go to become a chiropractor?
I guess it starts when I was a kid. I initially wanted to be a rolfer. I don't know if you've heard of rolfing before.
Golfing.
Rolfing. So it's like deep tissue massage.
Okay.
Like super deep tissue. And I mean, when I was a kid, my parents would tell me like, rolfers, they get so like into the muscle that like they make people taller, because of the adhesions that are in those. So I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Like I loved like giving my family massages. And so that's kind of like the initial like medical field, like
Okay.
patient contact. And then as I got older, I wanted to go just be a doctor, do something in the med field. So I went to school, got a neuroscience degree at Washington State, and then started working for ophthalmologists, so like eye doctors. I was an ophthalmic tech, and then as we were getting moved like from Washington to Texas, um, I was like, hey, like what can I do to further this? I've been working for 3 years. I want to like progress. And then I had seen a chiropractor when I was in high school, for like I had a stinger down my arm during football, and
Okay.
he helped correct that, helped correct my posture. So I was like, let's get into this. So I went to chiropractic. I looked up like best chiropractic colleges, and one was Parker University, and that was in Dallas, which was only like 2.5 hours away. So just packed up and started school up there.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was gonna say because it's like, you know, you liking or having that love of giving people massages. That's one thing my wife says to me. She's like, I told her I was like, these hands are not built for massaging. This is strictly solving people's technical problem. It's all up here more so than here. So
Yeah.
I was just like, I can do it. It's just not a love I have.
No, I get it.
So
I get it.
it's kind of funny that that's something working with my hands. I'm like also the reason I don't do an outdoor job. I can do it for myself. I'm just not something I really like doing.
That's fair. I get it, man. I,
So that's super. So this you brought up the stinger that you had. So was that a pinched nerve or
yep. So I think it was a C8. So your cervical spine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vertebrae, and
okay?
there's nerves that come out on either side. And what
Okay.
happened was I hit somebody, and also so the vertebrae sit like this, and there's a disc in between. When I hit the guy, it compressed my disc, and then that compression compressed the nerve on the side. And so me having bad posture, hitting the person, compressing the disc caused this nerve pain that went down my arm. It felt like
Okay.
my arm was like breaking from the inside. It sucked.
Okay.
But yeah, that's when that happens. It's just all about turning down the inflammation, making sure the structure is okay, and then helping recorrect the posture.
Interesting. Okay. I just hadn't heard that term before, stinger. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay. That makes total sense there. So
yeah.
I know when we were when we were before when we were chatting about producing this your weekly lives on YouTube and coming up with questions and answers. Something like just because it's spring right now, it's April 2026. One thing I notice is, I've had this stuff, but I had one this week, like the migraine, and I see a lot of people I know posting on Facebook recently and other places that they can't do anything the last couple of weeks because weather's changing and they've all got these migraines. So I want to chat with you about migraines because I've had a long history with them. Like they all, I felt like they crippled my business back when I'm in my
Mhm.
40s now. So back in like my 30s, but that I had experience with as a child being an athlete, so hockey and track and field, and that active component, and then my active component kind of stopped in my 20s, and then I went back into being active with playing hockey once a week, right? But I was also weight training and going to the gym regularly. Unlike my nomad lifestyle right now, I haven't touched a gym in 2 years, which presents different challenges, right? But being active as a child, and then I was just found that I moved from one area of Canada to another, and as soon as I moved, the migraines were like weekly for years.
Mm,
So I kind of chatted with you before we jumped online. I was chatting with you that it got like my migraine situation got so bad. I was on a lot of pain relievers like Tylenol, like every single pill you could pop from a doctor, but I was literally on that stuff, and then had developed ulcers from that. And I got to the point where they said, "Oh, we want you to go through like a CAT scan because we think you've got like cancer or brain cancer or something like that." And realistically, I got to that point with the migraines, and then we moved. And
mm,
me moving from high elevation in the city to outside the city completely completely changed the migraines from happening a lot to not happening so much.
mm.
So, and I wasn't sure what your experience. You said we could chat about migraines, but I didn't ask you how much experience you had with diagnosing and treating them. So, I just with my experience, I figured out, hey, it was stress, it was elevation, proximity to power lines in my case is frequency, and there was all these. So when people ask me for how I got over dealing with migraines, I'm like, well, hey, it was water, it was salt, and there was like all these environmental variables that I started introducing, and then moving kind of like released all the tension. I was like, hey, I do better not at high elevation. My body seems to do better at sea level, which doesn't 100% change my diagnosis because I still had it this week, which I'm like, it's water intake this week,
Yeah.
lack of water intake this week. So my experience, so with your experience with when somebody comes through and says they're having repeat headaches or migraine or what they're describing as a migraine, how would you start treating that or diagnosing it?
So the different type of headaches are normally diagnosed for a couple different ways. One of the ways is the pattern of the headache.
Okay.
So depending on if it wraps from back to front and then it's behind the eye, that is one type. If it's just the top of the forehead like that, that
Hmm.
is one type. And then over the back on the top like that. So that kind of classifies the headache. Also, with some migraines, you have an aura, so like a visual disturbance. That depends on like classic migraine or just migraine. So either one of those things, they kind of present with the symptoms. I say, okay, that sounds like this. And then for my analysis, I take X-rays. I see where in their neck is a vertebrae can be out of position, have a restriction. Because with what I work with, there's two, as with the spine, there's two very common places. Um, One is C1, so that top vertebrae in your neck. When that is out of place or not moving properly, it puts a lot of stress on the nerves up there. And
Okay.
that base of the
So
skull,
that's right behind the ear then.
yep. Yeah. So
When
if,
I'm saying like I got like when I wake up, it is like I can just feel something's out of whack. Would that possibly be the vertebrae in the neck then?
yep, yep. And
Like
I,
it's
I
not up here because it's not up here. It's always kind of like in here somewheres.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
And same with me. I also have migraines every once in a while. I have the aura, like I get it looks like a kaleidoscope in my vision.
Okay.
And it's usually this right side. And I've had issues here, but it starts here and then wraps around to behind the eye. Um, but it's just the increase in tension in that area and compression on that nerve that causes
Okay.
that to wrap
I don't remember all my symptoms when I suffered so bad with them because I
Yep.
was losing sight when I was driving, and that was like, okay, I got to change the whole structure of my business, because my business was literally
I don't know what just happened there, but
oh, maybe a button. I don't know. It's like, wait a minute, that was weird. So no, that was my aura. I was throwing it off.
yeah.
I just, obviously everybody, headaches feel different to everyone. Migraine. What is there? Is there a technical difference between what's described as a headache versus a migraine?
Headache, it's usually severity and length of time. So migraine is like 9 out of 10, and it usually lasts like a day or two. Whereas a headache is just, like a 4 to 8, maybe 7, and then it lasts like a couple hours.
Okay.
So
I'm describing my headache as a migraine then.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I never said I use the proper terminology. I just try to describe what I'm feeling, or what I'm doing, so people can understand, right?
Yeah. Well, also the consistency as well. I mean, if you're getting constant headaches, like that is more, I don't know, that screams more migraine because it's a consistency. Whereas, if you're drinking one time and get a headache, that's a little different.
Well, no, exactly, because when my wife's like, "Was it a migraine or a hangover?" It's like, I didn't drink. It's not a. I know what the difference. Like,
Yeah.
I may not know the difference between literally the how long it is versus for declaring it as a. I just know in my previous life, when I lived in a condo, so penthouse, top floor, high elevation, next to power lines, drinking whatever water was coming out of the tap, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it would just wipe me out for days. Like, I'm like, oh, I wake up on a Wednesday and I'd have this intent. Like, I was still working, I was still like driving, but I got to that point where I'm just like, something, I can't even function.
That's a migraine.
Right? I couldn't even function. And we own that condo. I lived in my condo for 7 years, and as soon as I moved out of that condo and I just went into like farmland, it was like night and day difference. And I was like, wow, I paid a mortgage on a building for 7 years, that's longer because I rented it out. I put myself in a situation that was like instant migraine generation.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. So what I look for here is those two things. So the C1 and then C5.
Okay.
C5 is the vertebrae in your neck that carries the weight of your neck and your head.
Okay.
So when that isn't moving properly, it causes changes above and below, like the way the neck moves. So that can cause tension and stress that causes the migraines.
Okay.
But outside of that, there are environmental factors that do cause migraines. Stress, pollen, like you're saying, proximity to power lines, altitude, all sorts of different triggers.
Well, I was also wondering, because I've been rear-ended a couple times, so motor vehicle accidents, not severe ones, but the whiplash.
Yep,
Right.
that's a huge one.
And our building didn't have elevators, so steps all day, and heavy bags, computer boxes. So I was just like, I think it was repetitive, like just like all these environmental factors. Then I was like, I'm done. I'm just done with having. I don't like living in pain, so I try to really limit it. And my wife's a personal trainer and a yoga instructor, so she's like, "Why do you always have headaches?" I was like, "Well, because I am going." But then I was also driving. I'm 6 foot tall, and the company vehicle I had from 2006 to 2021 was Volkswagen Beetles.
Oh gosh.
So squishing myself, being a 6 foot tall person, squishing myself into this tiny little car for branding, right? Yeah. So it's like all these things I was putting. Yeah, now I just drive a big pickup truck, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I've got like room. I don't have to bend over to get into it. It's just environmental variables and choosing to. I'm like, okay, it's what a lot of people. I see a lot of people posting about. Headaches and migraines, and I was like, well, what would be your should they go see a chiropractor to get started with that? Or
I'm obviously a little biased there.
Yeah,
but I think you should see a chiropractor. But I also think like acupuncturists, they help with migraines.
I didn't want to bring up the acupuncturist, but it's
Yep.
funny because when I think we were doing, I think my wife got pregnant after going to see because we were going through the motions of acupuncture really helped her when we were trying to conceive.
Yeah.
Right. And I had a really good relationship with my acupuncturist until a certain point in history. So but I had tried a bunch of different types of acupuncture before that, or acupuncturist before that. And it was like one particular doctor where it seemed to like we were going weekly.
Yeah. Consistency also helps as well. Some people find massage that helps a lot with migraines as well. It just depends on the person.
Is it really just getting those you said C1 and C5 or?
Yep.
Yeah, getting those moving properly.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, anything you can do to like not have to take medication, like I highly recommend doing that. Naturopath, acupuncturist, massage therapist, like those kind of things, because I mean, you can deal with it naturally. It just takes some time and finding the person that's right for you.
So do you have like acupuncturists that you refer to? You've got good relationships with all the professionals in your industry?
Trying to. I'm actually, there is acupuncturists out here that I really, really like. I need to go see. I've never been to an acupuncturist before, so I would like to.
Really? Because it's funny that you brought it up, because our friend David, who's also in YouTube University, he's like, "Are we going to do our live today?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to talk to the chiropractor in the group." He's like, "Oh, I'm going to acupuncturist right now." So once he's done with the acupuncturist, he's going to come on full of energy. So
I would like to try it though. It looks
so awesome. This is why I was just saying, because when I think I had shared with you a couple days ago that where I'm from, Alberta, Canada, if you get into a motor vehicle accident, the only one, and you're going through insurance, you want insurance to cover your doctor's visits and massage therapy and all that stuff. You have to go to a chiropractor to get referred to the medical treatments in order to get it covered. So that's what I thought was interesting, and that's kind of what led me down that finding. I would have been dealing. It's always whiplash, because I drove a Volkswagen Beetle around a major city for a long time, and people like to hit those Volkswagens. So I've been rear-ended multiple times. Not severe, but enough to, when you're not expecting it, it's still going to cause you trauma, right? But it was the hunt to find an acupuncturist that I actually enjoyed, because massage is one type of pain. Hot stone massage is a different type of pain. The massage therapy that you were doing before you got into chiro, I'm assuming that is a bit of pain.
Yeah, well, that was
and then because even I've had like the cupping technique where they're like leaving the massive bruises on your back. Like I went through all that stuff in physiotherapy after a couple different fender benders. But I found the acupuncture, the process of getting the needles put in, that took the right acupuncturist to make me comfortable with the procedure and have me actually feel difference with it.
Yeah.
Because if it's doing what it says it's doing, and I don't know what the technical term is, but you just feel like the energy pathways are open, right? But it's a weird feeling.
The proper meridians and all that.
Yeah, if that's a technical term. You feel one way when you go into acupuncture, and if you did not like your acupuncturist, you will not like how it feels afterwards. And then when you get the proper one, it feels amazing. But that was just me having so much experience with it, trying to find somebody where I'm like, hey, because I was still driving a Volkswagen Beetle around Calgary, still getting underneath desks and fixing. Like literally, my whole action every day is get under a desk and fix a computer. Get under a desk and fix a printer. That's like the action I was doing every day, right? It is
Yeah.
like I do not feel good with this activity. Even with my wife being, going to the gym and stretching, I did not feel like there was just something wrong until I found the right acupuncturist, and then I think that was such a consistent thing every single week, probably till like 2020, probably till 2020, that it had such a lasting effect. Plus, my environment, I was living in a different place by the time by that time, so I didn't feel as I wasn't having the same type of migraines or headaches. So
Awesome. Do you think it was the acupuncturist that was doing
well,
the
this
work?
is why I was going to ask what you would prescribe, because I'm not saying people are having the same headaches or migraines I'm having, because I think it's really is diet and environmental. Is like, what are your daily actions? Because
Mhm.
if you were in some type of accident and you have unresolved, like if things weren't fixed in your body properly, you're just going to be carrying that going forward,
Yeah. No.
right? And I think for me, being open to all types of holistic, because my wife and I have tried a lot of different things in our life, like holistic remedies, and some you're like, okay, you take something that you're like, hey, I'm allergic to bee pollen, or there's just certain things where you do it and you're like, this is not working for me, and then I've never said anything bad about acupuncturists, other than I'm like, you gotta find the one that feels right. But it's like massage therapy. I can book my wife a massage, and she'll instantly tell me feedback if she liked the masseuse or not, because she's like,
Mm,
some masseuses don't even massage hard enough for what my wife would expect a good massage to feel like.
got it.
Right. So we've gone to, like, we've had a great massage in Mexico, and then not good massages in Mexico. So it's like, okay, because of course, when you go to see a professional, you expect a result, and it may be underwhelming or overwhelming depending on, and usually when we go for like a massage, it's like, the masseuse will be like, hey, you want 30 minutes? I'm like, no, I want an hour. Well, we don't do hour-long massages, and instantly in my brain I'm like, okay, they're not going to be the right type of masseuse, because if they're not used to doing hour-long massages, because they don't have the strength in their hands to do it, it's not going to be a good experience.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I want to be in pain, and my wife has a much higher pain tolerance. She wants to be in pain, but I know she's going to be relaxed after having somebody get out, doing that for an hour, right? So,
Yep. Yep.
it's just, as a professional service people, I tell my customers, I'm like, I know you want this solved, and I know you may have an idea in your mind of how long it's going to take, and I'm going to explain this to you. I'm like, I want to do a good job, and I want to meet your expectations. So whatever expectation you have of this service, you have to, like, I'm not going to leave until me as a professional, I'm satisfied with what the service I gave you, right? Because
Exactly.
you may be ready for it, you may not be, or I may be answering all your questions because you've never actually encountered a service professional like myself, where I actually want to do a good job. Yeah, I get paid's one thing, but I want you to be able to write me a raving review that you learned something along the process, and you're satisfied that you took the time to figure out what my process and what my service capability is, because we want raving fans. The whole reason we're building YouTube channels is that people find us, um, know, like, and trust us automatically from our content, and can trust that if they come to see us or they refer their family member to us, that they're going to be taken care of, and there's no questions in their mind because we're putting this content,
Yeah. Absolutely.
right? Because I've been, it's like when I go look for a mechanic or a carpenter. I built a custom house. Very disappointed with the build process with master carpenters and master plumbers. And I'm like, okay, I've gone through this experience. Next time I do it, it's going to take me 30 years to build a house, because I'm going to do it all myself, because I know what type of quality I would expect.
Mm, Got it.
versus not understanding. But of course, with age comes, what do I expect? What do I, before I go shopping, I have an idea what my list is and I have an idea what it's supposed to cost. And if there's something along that shopping experience that doesn't resonate positively with me, I'll just like leave the store because I know there's going to be something that's going to not give me the outcome, the desired outcome. That's not going to give me the desired outcome I want. And of course, I travel a lot, so when I'm in Texas, I don't know what the grocery stores are. I don't know what the good mechanics are. The tire shops, I have no idea. I'm literally looking on Google Maps, looking at reviews, and looking at if the reviews that are good, if people have like a story, they're like, this person's amazing because they take the time to actually give you what you've asking for rather than just prescribe. You're not just a number coming through the door, you're an actual human.
Yep.
That's what I'm
100%.
looking for, right? Because I think maybe it's in Brent. It is totally in Brenham. There's a tire shop in Brenham. And it's not like the name brand tire shop. It's like I know where it is on the map. I was I had called I was in Brenham. I was supposed to go. I did make it to Austin, but I got a flat tire on the way to Austin with my pickup truck. And I called a bunch of tire shops. And it was like 5 p.m. and nobody was answering. Whatever. I could not get a tow truck or a tire shop to answer at 4:35 p.m. Right.
Gosh.
And it was like 45 minutes from Austin. So it was in between Brenham and Austin. Right. I got a Chevy. I had a Ford pickup truck came behind me. The guy helped me get my spare on. So it was great. Next day, I'm in Brenham calling tire shops. Again, no real answer except one. And they're like, just show up and we'll take a look at it. They wouldn't give me a price over the phone. They're just like, show up, let us look at it. I showed up. It's not a chain tire shop. It's, it was kind of like they're a tire shop, but they're not even running out of like a proper, like what you would expect a tire shop, like the layout you expect for a tire shop. It wasn't like that. It was like an industrial bay. I was like, okay, whatever. I roll the tire in there. It had a big hole in it, and they patched it, no charge. Because you found us on Google, you're not local, just take it. I was like, well, should I? They're like, no, we patched it. You don't even have to worry about that tire anymore because we patched it. I was like, okay, thank you. I went and left them a review, but it was just like, they're the only ones who answered the phone.
Yeah.
And then I was like, whatever. My wife like, how was that experience? I'm like, strange, because I know in Texas it's kind of like you got both your English and Spanish, and it definitely seemed to be more of a Spanish speaking only shop, but whatever. I rolled my tire to them, they fixed it, and they did not want any money. They're like, no money, no money. I was like, whatever. That's great. Great hospitality. And then I'm like, that's what earns them an amazing Google review.
Yeah. 100%.
Because I found them, they answered. I showed up and I didn't even tell them that it was, I was just like, hey, so that's what we want. That's the type of, experiences we want to give to our clients, that, they find us and I just want my tire fixed. And it was like, what, like no upsell, no downsell, no like, hey, we don't do this. Cause I've had that before where you show up and you're like, oh, well, yeah, we told you over the phone we could. I was like, no, I want to have an idea based on what I find on them on Google Maps or YouTube, what the end user experience is going to be. So that's exactly why I think Q&A format for you might do amazing, because you're really just giving me your realistic answer of, but I know that's what people are coming in. They got body pain, and you're going to tell them exactly. Each person's going to have a different environmental variable, and mine might sound extreme, but that's just city life.
Yeah.
city life. And really, I didn't grow up in high elevation. I grew up out in the prairies, and then 18 moved to the big city, and then dealing with city life did me in for 10 years. And I was like, okay, then it was like exit out of out of the city. And then I was like, wait a minute, I thoroughly enjoy just traveling around, meeting amazing business owners, and helping you get in front of the camera and making content, because this is all what we all need to do going forward. I know you got to get it back to work. So Did you have anything else to add about migraines or headaches, or really just go seek help? Because
Um,
it's not gonna go. They're never gonna go away. Mine are just less frequent, but I realize I'm like, do the water check, make sure I've had enough salt, make sure I've eaten something, go stretch, and then just stop dealing with that particular stress.
yeah, yeah. No, I would suggest, like, at least for home, cold compresses usually help on the back of the neck or on the forehead. Also,
Cold, okay. I'm doing it wrong. I'm jumping in a hot shower.
so I mean that'll help for sure. I mean, just because of the water getting on your head, it's kind of distract from the pain. But as far as, like, if you don't have access to a shower, like you're at work or something, just throw a
Okay,
cold
okay.
forehead or back of the head. And then also aromatherapy does tend to help, like a mint roll.
I didn't even bring that up because I think that's when my wife got into essential oils so much.
Yep, that
I was
helps a
just
lot.
like driving around in my Volkswagen Beetle with like the essential oil. I love lavender.
Yeah.
I'm just like not snorting it, but smelling it all day long.
Yep,
So I
yep.
know all the tricks. I've been
There
there,
you
done
go.
that, and I'm still not over them. But I see a lot of whenever I have a friend post about migraines or looking for that remedy, and I'm like, I don't want to spam you, and I'm like sending them pages of all the things I've done based on where I've been in the world. And like I'm like, okay, if I'm in Dubai in a hotel like 80 floors up, I know the headaches hit different than when I'm at like right now I'm sea level, so I feel different. But I've had such a long history with migraines, headaches, whatever, that I may not know where they start here or there. Mine usually are always in my neck. And then if it's not treated right away, then it like envelopes my whole forehead. But if I can deal with it quickly in the first couple hours of the day, it's you know, it's just different based on where I am in North America, elevation, et cetera, et cetera. Water, drinking plenty of water doesn't always take it away. Drinking salt water doesn't always take it away. It's just a matter of,
It's preventative at that point.
preventative at that point. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All
But
right.
yeah.
Well, this was question and answer with the Dr. Levi in College Station, Texas, and tune in. We're gonna be doing these weekly Q&A with the doctor every single week, and we're just warming up the YouTube channel. So if you're watching, please subscribe because we're building up the audience on YouTube. We're getting comfortable with this format and making it into a weekly show. So if you're watching, leave comments because since Dr. Levi is a doctor, I'm sure he hasn't seen all the different types of questions he can get in his with patients just walking in through the door to talk to him. And this is exactly why I started my technology show. I wanted people to ask me technology questions, and I wanted them to stump me because in my profession, I want to learn more, especially if I haven't run into a particular ailment. I'm like, hey, there's got to be an answer for this. And as a professional, I want to make sure I've got a robust answer for all the questions I get asked. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I'm sure since you're a doctor, you're practicing you're practicing chiropractic, and you want to make sure you know how to answer people's questions when they come through your door.
Absolutely. Yeah. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I appreciate you asking me the questions. It's been great.
Perfect, great. Well, we'll get our weeklies set up properly. Start advertising those, and I hope you enjoyed your 38. We did 38 minutes today, so congratulations.
Thank you. It was solid. It was a great time.
Perfect, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna leave the meeting, and then I think you can end it on your side.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
Remember to subscribe. It's
subscribe.
River of Life Cairo. We got to put some call to actions in here. I just want to make sure you're comfortable with the format. So
Perfect.